7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? I've got a sneaking suspicion that you might be doing pretty well after watching United last night. Yes, it's only Bournemouth. Yes, we should be beating this, but I can't be asked to have conversations with those people that you can't just enjoy watching United play well. 9 points from 9 since we returned from the World Cup. Beating, what was it, Forest, beating Wolves, beating Bournemouth, 3 clean sheets, 7-0 on aggregate. United, the point swing that we've had over pretty much in fact, I think every team around us has been fantastic. And it's the perfect way to return to the second half of this season. Ten Hag has got this United team flying pretty high. Of course, we've got Man City and Arsenal next. They are the tests. City, I don't think is... well, City's on a different level to everybody else right now. But look, City drew against Everton. Was it last week? Everybody's dropping points. Apart from United in the last 3 weeks. But look, good morning to all of you. I'm going to run through everything that happened in that game yesterday. We're going to run through player ratings. We're going to run through conversations about Casemiro, Rashford, Shaw, Maguire. I need to have a conversation about Maguire again. Naturally, I want to speak about transfers. I want to speak about what's next. I want to speak about Ten Hag's reaction. There's so much to run through. There really, really is. So make sure you get involved in the comments wherever possible. Make sure you drop a like on the video. And who's down here in the comments? Have a look. Nathan, good morning to you. Anthony, Stu Backer. Oh, nice to see you there. Michael, Craig. Michael, you messaged me yesterday asking if I'd sent out the Christmas giveaways. By the way, I want to apologize to everyone now. I'd admit, I've only just sent them yesterday. I was a bit busy, I'll be honest, during December. And I didn't have enough time to wrap it all up, pack them all up, get the whole to blah, blah, blah. So they're delayed. I apologize to everyone, but you will get them. I promise. If you want something in the giveaway, you will get it. It might just be a little bit later than you probably thought. Who else is down here? And good morning to you, Andy, Josh, T. Oh, we've got a full house. Full house down here in the comments. Who sent that super chat? Tina, you sent in a super chat. Let me read this out for you this morning before I get started. There's a really important point that I want to actually discuss first. Where is that super chat? Oh, my God. There's so many comments flying in. I'm kind of missing them all. Tina, we need a player like Haaland. An out-and-out forward, not a player that can play in all front three positions. Hey, look, Tina, this is a big debate. I personally think that Ten Hag is not going for that sort of signing. I think Ten Hag is going for a signing which is going to make United more of a Salah, Mane, Firmino type front three. That dynamic moving front three. It's what we've been playing towards and kind of how we play. I don't particularly think that he's going towards that out-and-out number 9. I might be completely wrong. But that's just kind of what my gut instinct is saying. Mate, look at that down there. As always, every single day, the community reminds me just how good it is. We've got Alex, we've got Gungshi, and we've got Nathan down there, all gifting 5 memberships each, 15 new members. This week, this month, I'm not going to say this week. This month is when the members-only content is starting. I'm going to start doing more of the stuff behind the scenes. Conversations that we can have directly inside the Telegram members only chat. It won't exist on YouTube. It won't exist anywhere else apart from inside that Telegram chat. So if you're a member and you've been lucky enough to be given a membership there, make sure you go into the community tab on YouTube and make sure you join the Telegram. This is the heart of the community, is our live streams here every morning. But the hub of it is that Telegram community. Look, and you're saying, look, I know you're right. I know you're right. I know that that's the person that we're missing. I just don't think that's what Ten Hag is looking at. All right? I don't think we're looking at one. And I don't think there's particularly that many available anyway. If you're looking at a Haaland type, Harry Kane, look, we spoke about Harry Kane in the podcast this week, me, Bao, and Matt. And we all kind of agreed that if we get new owners in and we get them in the right time, that this should probably be the time where we really go all out and try and sign Harry Kane. I was previously, my sort of trepidation towards signing Harry Kane was more about the fact that I knew Manchester United would have a very finite amount of budget, and I just didn't want us to be going to spending X amount on Harry Kane because we wouldn't be able to afford it anywhere else. So we'll have a conversation about that further down the line. But something I want to speak about first before we dive into the positives from yesterday. I really did feel for Donny van der Beek. I really, really did feel for Donny van der Beek, man. That tackle, I said it on Twitter yesterday. I kind of got pelters. Bournemouth were kind of lunging in yesterday, but that wasn't a malicious tackle yesterday. The tackle that injured Donny van der Beek, whoever it was, he planted his foot to try and kick the ball back. It completely slipped, and he's such a big dude that all of his weight went. It didn't look. I don't need to pull the photo up of how Donny van der Beek's knee bent in the wrong direction. It was a massive overstretch of his ligament. I'll be very, very surprised if that doesn't cause some sort of damage. I mean, I know he's young and he's flexible and all that, but that didn't look very good. Erik ten Hag spoke about it after the game, and he said, yeah, it's not looking good. We have to wait 24 hours. I'll be completely honest, Andrew. I'm very surprised about this as well. I'm surprised that that Donny walked off. I'm surprised that United's physios let Donny walk off, but I suppose they didn't see what the they didn't see what that was. They didn't see the injury. It didn't look good. I'd be surprised if Donny van der Beek can shrug that off, but I suppose we'll find out here. It looked like a massive hyperextension. Anybody who knows about ACL injuries, and it didn't look good. And I really feel for him because I actually thought he was playing okay in that game. And I've been one to really criticize Donny van der Beek. I said that game yesterday, it was a game where there was rotation. It was a game where, for me, Maguire and van der Beek really had to show themselves. And I thought he was playing okay. Really unlucky, man. And you saw how gutted he was. It's unlucky. That's something that you can't really. It's just unlucky. You're putting all the work in. You're playing all right. And that sort of injury comes when someone slips and all of his weight goes on the back. It's unlucky, man. It's unlucky. But look, I wish the best to Donny, and I suppose we'll find out in the next, next 24 hours, 48 hours. Probably an update on that injury. But going back to the game and focusing on, well, the positives, and presumably the biggest positive is Erik ten Hag. I don't think presumably. I know that it just feels, I don't know, but you can let me know in the comments. It feels a little bit different, right? It feels, the last time that we, I suppose, had this sort of feeling was, I'm going to pull it up here, is back in the January 2021. We were top of the league under Solskjaer. You remember we went top of the league for 1 week, and then after that point, our asses fell out. We didn't know what to do at the top of the league. I think City went on a run where they, I think, won 10 out of 11 games, and they just stormed the league that year. And that was from us being top of the league. We just didn't know what to do. You look at what Ten Hag is doing with this team now. And as I said yesterday, my prediction was 3-0, right? And it was 3-0. It was spot on. And I mean that as a compliment to this team and how United are playing, because I wouldn't say it was predictable, but I had the confidence to predict a 3-0 win yesterday, and these players had the confidence to just follow it through. It was a game where in the first 20, 30 minutes, we weren't playing that well, man. You play with Maguire and Lindelof together, and neither of them wants to take on the responsibility of bringing the ball forward. There was a lot of finger pointing from both of them saying, oh, go that way, go that direction, bringing it left and right. Wan-Bissaka is not a particularly progressive player, so it's kind of all left to Luke Shaw to progress the ball forward. Or Lindelof, I think, tried 1 or 2 balls going forward. But as soon as that goal went in, Eriksen's cross, Casemiro's finish, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to be waxing lyrical. Yes, he's got waxing lyrical in about Casemiro during this stream. But when that goal went in, kind of settled us down a little bit. And then the 2 goals we scored in that second half were just superb. Absolutely superb. The goal from Shaw, created by Shaw, completely. He was fantastic. Better than he was absolutely fantastic in the 2 games where he was centre back, and even better at left back. Lo and behold, who knew that was coming? But look, this is what's impressed me. Well, not what's impressed me the most, but this is a massive difference. This is a big difference, right? Look at this. This is the table after 14 games. I think this was a table after the World Cup. We returned after the World Cup. Man United in 5th place, 3 points behind Tottenham Hotspur, 4 points ahead of Liverpool. What was it? 4 points behind Newcastle, 6 points behind City, and 11 points behind Arsenal. And we see what's happened here only 3 games later. Man United have gone from 5th to 4th. We've jumped above Spurs. We've created an 8-point swing over Spurs from going, we were 3 points behind Spurs, and we're now 5 points ahead of Spurs. 5 points ahead of 4th place. We're 7 points ahead of Liverpool. We're now level on points with Newcastle. We're only 1 point behind City. And we've reduced the gap to 9 points on Arsenal. And Chelsea, well, you can't even see them down there. There they are. Chelsea, how far? 10 points ahead of Chelsea. Irrelevant football club. This is a big step in the progression. Because this is all progression. Nobody's celebrating top 4. Nobody will celebrate top 4. But it's a significant difference to see United shipping teams off at Old Trafford that we should be just kind of breezing over. Nottingham Forest, well, they're 17th. Yeah, you should be dominating them at Old Trafford, and we did. Wolves away, it's never an easy game, and we came out on top there. And then Bournemouth at home, we should be easily controlled it, and we did. But apart from like a 10-15 minute period in that second half, that game was ours. And Ten Hag really did, I wouldn't say focused on it, but Ten Hag is somebody who massively demands, not perfection, but he doesn't like lapses in concentration. I think Man United definitely had 15 minutes in that second half. I'll read a couple of the super chats out here, some of your comments, and then I'm going to dive into Ten Hag's comments on the game. Spence, you're saying, Happy New Year, Sam. Everyone else in the community, definitely the best United-based community, feeling super positive about the club. Cheers, dude. And yeah, there is reason to feel super positive about the club because everything feels like it's working together. Well, apart from the Glazers trying to sell the club, and ultimately that's the big thing that's still hanging over us. Everything's pulling in the same direction. All the players, there's no Ronaldo now making it, just creating there's no weird vibe among these players. Everybody seems to be on the right direction and path, and everybody's probably helping Jadon Sancho. And you're saying, look, it's a truly experienced spine now, and leaders all over. And man, I can't wait to speak about Casemiro in this stream. And it's wow. I don't think I can state how impressive Casemiro is. I can't. There's too many sort of facets to it. My God. Thank you very much, Real Madrid. Marcus, I don't think anybody's saying that. And I don't think anybody will say that. Certainly not inside United. We'll just focus on what we are doing. And what we are doing right now is we're taking advantage of the slips of others. And bear in mind, Chelsea plays City tonight. We got to be sitting here backing a Chelsea win. A Chelsea win there. We head into this game now. If that happens, hypothetical, of course. But if Chelsea manage to beat City tonight, it's probably unlikely given how Chelsea are playing. Then United could beat City at Old Trafford next weekend and go ahead of them in the table. Mate, that would be absolutely fantastic. I would absolutely love that. Spence, you done. Gifting 5 memberships as well, man. Dropping a super chat in saying what community, and then gifting 5 memberships. Who are the lucky 5 there? Samantha, you've got 1. Iron, Sa, Alex Russ, and James Blackwell. You've all been gifted 1. Brilliant, man. Thank you very much. But look, I want to quickly run through these comments from Ten Hag because I think they're really important. And it's something that City games tomorrow night. Wow, it doesn't really matter. City are playing Chelsea in this game week. Doesn't matter. Ten Hag, it's not as if he doesn't compliment the players and see the positives, because he does. He talks about all the positives, but he makes it clear about the mistakes that happen at the same time. And he never loses focus, and he constantly demands more. And he says this. He goes, it's true. It was 3-0 and I'm happy with that. This is quite clear, but today was not our best game. We need to be smart as a team and make great goals, but sometimes we are lucky. Great saves from David De Gea, but play a little bit more smart and as a team. And finally, we ended up with 2 departments, 1 attacking one and 1 defended one. There's a really nice quote that is it this one here from Laurie Whitwell? Not that one there. This one. He goes, we ended up with 2 departments, 1 attacking and 1 defending with a big gap in between. It cost a lot of energy and you get a tennis match. We don't want to play tennis. We want to play football. Keep the ball and recognize when to speed up. And I think I've said this to you quite a few times here on United People's TV, and I'll say it again. This is a phrase that Ten Hag uses a lot. Energy. He talks about energy and he talks about investment. Investment, he means like you might be an attacker that makes that run 10 times and you only get the ball once. But you need to make the investment of doing that run every single time. Because if you do, you'll be in the right spot at the right moment to get that goal. And he talks about energy. And he said this quite a few times in the last couple of weeks, actually. Let me see if I can highlight that. Oh, look at that. The reason he says that is because he wants Manchester United to be 2 goals up, 3 goals up. And therefore, we can take players off. We can slip it into second gear. You can save energy. And you don't have to be chasing a game for the full 90. And he was completely right that Man United needed to play smarter there. Because De Gea had a fantastic game. De Gea was probably like an 8 out of 10, wasn't he? If you think about it. Made one in particular really important save, like hand over the top of his head. You know what De Gea likes to do? He goes with what looks like the wrong arm, but he somehow makes a save still. I just really this is a phrase and the wrong one again. A phrase and a focus there that Ten Hag is clearly like drumming into his players. Focus on the energy. Focus on controlling the game. Focus on making sure that you don't have to. If you're better, you don't have to do that. Other people can chase it. And this is an element of Ten Hag's football, which isn't quite there yet. This is what I mean. The process is happening. We're still not really good enough, in my opinion, at playing out from the back with the ball. And it doesn't really help when you don't have Lisandro Martinez in that team, for sure. But in terms of controlling the football game, still not there yet. We're still not pressing from the front. We're still not playing out from the back well enough. And these are all like parts of it that we are going towards. But yeah, I just really like how Ten Hag speaks, man. And he's saying something that I think all of us will be saying, like, let's not get too far ahead, man. It's only January. And I think this picture here will serve as a massive reminder of that. This is what I was just mentioning there. This is the Premier League table on the 15th of January, 2021. And you'll remember, this is where Manchester United were top of the table. Played 17, the exact same that we've played now, I believe. Let's have a look. Yeah, played 17, 35 points. And this is when we were top of the league. We had 36 points. Look at that. Isn't that mad? We're 1 point shy of this. And instead of being top, we're 4th. But that goes to show how well Arsenal are doing this year. This is the last time where we had, at this point, this many points. This point in the season. And after that, United collapsed. United didn't know what to do. I absolutely do not think that we are collapsing now. I just think we are building something. Now, the next 2 games against City and Arsenal are going to be completely and utterly different games to Forest, Wolves, and Bournemouth. City, in particular, is going to be ridiculous. But with this man in charge, and I tell you what, is that one there? No. With this man in midfield, I expect United to play differently against City next time. As I said, I'm kind of finding it difficult to explain the superlatives. Explain the superlatives doesn't make any sense. Just fucking Casemiro is so good, man. I think it's because we've been starved of seeing a player like him for so long that when you watch him, it's like 10 times more apparent how good he is. But just every single area of the pitch, that's the thing that's really surprising. It's the thing I keep repeating. The thing that's surprising me the most about Casemiro is just how complete his game is. He's not just a dude who's going to stand in front of the back 4, win the ball, and pass it to someone else, is he? He's not. That goal yesterday was a bit of a joke of a finish, actually. It was ball coming over. It wasn't coming over his shoulder, but it was coming from there, running onto it, open foot, perfect finish, right into the corner. Casemiro, it's not just that. It's not just his goals. It's not just his tackles. He's bringing everybody else up to a level which I haven't been before. He's so smart. He's schneid. He gets those tackles. He gets his body in the way. He probably saves United a couple of minutes a game just by being a bit smart. And he's just that good, man. And he, going into the City game, a game where, my God, I've hated watching City's midfield play against United. I actually don't even want to remember how long, because they always dominate it. De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, all of them. Rodri, they just kind of toy with United in midfield. And you're effectively chasing City's tail the entire game. Now, I imagine quite a lot of the game on next Saturday will be that. We will be chasing City. They will be controlling it because they are City. They are on a different level to us at this particular moment in time. But this should not be a game where we get the same 45 minutes that we got away from home. That game against City after the month break between Arsenal and then City at the Etihad was painful, man. Painful. Casemiro obviously wasn't in that starting 11 because Ten Hag was backing his players on form, was backing McTominay. It's not Captain Hindsight speaking. Maybe it is Captain Hindsight speaking that might have been a mistake. But that's by the by. United have recovered from that. And now we're in this situation here where we're heading into this game against City with a different level of confidence in the players. And I imagine the players have a different level of confidence themselves. Of course, we've got Everton and Charlton to navigate in between. But Everton, I mean, come on. They're about to sack Frank Lampard. They've just been pumped 4-1 by Brighton at Goodison Park. We're at home. We should be dispatching Everton in the same way that we dispatch Bournemouth and Forest. Not so much Wolves. I imagine it'll be closer to a Wolves game than it would be a Bournemouth. But Everton are shit right now. Take advantage of that. Charlton, we should be beating League One opposition. Again, both at home. And then we play City at home. And that's a big thing, actually. At home. I think that's 6 wins on the bounce for United at home. I think it is. Anyway, there's one thing I've quickly got to show you here. Let me take, how long? Let me take 1 minute and 16 out of your life to bring this back to the surface, because I'm going to be doing this all season long because he's an absolute whopper. And I need to make sure that everybody remembers. And of course you do. But fuck Graham Souness.
You're getting a steady Eddie. He plays where I used to play, and obviously I'm going to talk up that position. I think there's a lot of work that maybe the untrained eye doesn't see, filling spaces, preventing passes into his 2 central defenders behind him. But I don't think he was playing with great players. He's not a great player. He's never been a great player. I see him as being a steady Eddie who will help United be more solid in the midfield. I don't think he's got any great range of passing. I don't think he's going to make other people play. The Real Madrid team, in that midfield especially, that was full of footballing types. I see him as being a steady Eddie, and that's a
steady Eddie. 70 million plus for a steady Eddie.
Well, I come back. He's 30 years old, and it's 70 million. You know, it's 60 with add-ons going to 70. Too much money. It's Man United all over again. Man United will pay a premium for players. It's Man United and it's the Premier League, and people know it's a wash with money. But I don't see him make them any better when they have the ball.
Oh wow! That slap at the end gets me every single time. But Casemiro yesterday, man, he was. Look at that heat map. You may as well cover the entire pitch. I apologize if the volume on that is different to the volume on this. It should all be the same, but it's a little bit different when you're streaming. I can't control the volumes on this as much as I can control the volumes on that. So I apologize about that. But look at that heat map yesterday. Casemiro absolutely everywhere. There's a cracking photo of him celebrating here. I love these sorts of photos where you get to stare at everyone. They're kind of all just, well, first of all, they're all getting pissed, absolutely soaked. Second of all, it's just a bit of admiration. I think that's the best way to describe how I'm watching Casemiro. It's just utter admiration. And he doesn't really look old at all. I mean, he's 30, right? He looks fit and he looks like he really genuinely wants trophies. He wants titles. He doesn't want to come to United and just go, yeah, okay, right. I enjoyed that there at Real Madrid. And let me just go and just retire here. He wants something at United. And I think that's going to be driving us forward. Let me go down and read a few of your comments out down here before we move on to the next point. And we got to speak, man. There's a few more players we need to speak about from yesterday's game. Chris, you just sent a super chat. You're saying Ryan Christie went in hard on Garnacho and Shaw. Casemiro instantly clattered him twice to put him in his place. That's captain material. I didn't see that, but I'm sure it did happen, Chris. And yeah, well, Souness is a melt. Absolute melt. But Casemiro is just... It's kind of hard to choose who you'd have as captain now. If you were to... Maybe I should... Let me do this as a poll. Let me go down here now. Start a poll. Next captain. I'll put... Of course, there could be more than these 4 options, right? I'm just going to put these 4 options down because they're 4 names in my head. I want to see what you're saying about this. There's 4 options there I put on YouTube. Apologies if you watch on Facebook. I can't do the same thing. I can't put polls on Facebook. 4 names I've put down there are for United's next captain. I've put Casemiro, I've put Martinez, I've put Bruno, and I've put De Gea. Out of those 4, try not to just focus on that game yesterday. Kind of focus on everything that you've been seeing so far. Who would you choose? Bruno is the captain right now. Bruno's the vice captain right now, anyway. Is he just a captain? I think he's a captain whenever Maguire doesn't play. So I'd kind of be surprised if it gets taken away from him. And I wouldn't take it away from him because I love Bruno. And I will be speaking about that. In fact, stop that. I'm going to mention this now. I was going to mention this a little bit later in the show, but it's time for me to start digging people out. Bruno Fernandes yesterday, 150 appearances for the club. He got an assist. He was involved in the build-up to the second goal as well. And during the game, I'm getting shit like this on Twitter. Don't know who this bloke is. As long as this fan group applauds Bruno and gladly has him start, we'll never win anything. The worst number 10 in the league. Horrendous decision maker. Terrible football IQ. Getting sick of watching him play. What a trash can. We need a new number 10. And this bloke here, Carl Parr, he was sending some... He was like, oh, Sam, yeah, well, your boy's putting in another stinker. And then, of course, Bruno then put in another assist and he swiftly deleted his tweet. So I can't find his tweet. But I am here calling this out because I've seen it constantly. I keep mentioning it. People seem to... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it's weird. It's odd. I've always said that I always find the criticism of Bruno Fernandes extremely, extremely weird. Where's the photo? Is it that one there? I've always found it odd. So I'm going to start calling people out now. Because why not? If you're going to try and troll me, just be better. Be better. I don't... Is that me nibbling? I suppose it is me nibbling. You got to call it out, man. You really have to call it out. It's so easy for people to abuse anybody online. So I'm going to start throwing back. Start throwing fists out. Right, let me see what you're saying in the comments here. There's 500 votes in 2 minutes. Look at that. And we've got 47% of you saying Bruno Fernandes, 35% of you saying Casemiro, 16% of you saying Martinez, and only 2% of you saying De Gea. And I'm in agreement with you. Bruno Fernandes should be keeping that armband. And we are such a better team because Bruno Fernandes is in it. It doesn't matter how bad he's playing, right? It doesn't matter what he's doing. Out of nowhere, Bruno can just flip something. Just out of nowhere. And it was a wonderful assist for Marcus Rashford. Great ball over from Luke Shaw. First time across from Bruno, and then Rashford, cool finish. And Rashford, man, let's talk about him. And yet, something I said yesterday, which I really, really is important. In fact, I won't speak about Rashford now. I'll speak about this lad. Because Luke Shaw, I mean, you could argue it's one of his best performances in the United shirt, and you'd probably be correct. But I said that what Man United need, well, we know we need a new striker. And I'm going to speak about Joao Felix a little bit later in the show. But we need goals from elsewhere because we've only got Marcus Rashford at the moment who's scoring in terms of our attackers. And yesterday, we got a goal from left back in Luke Shaw, and we got a goal from central midfield in Casemiro. That's what we need. We need to spread our goals around. And it was just, Luke Shaw was fantastic at centre-back. An unusual position for him, but he said he loved playing there. And then he went to left-back, and he was even better. He's so good at progressing the ball. I pointed this out during the World Cup. I think Shaw was in the top 5 ball-progressing players at the World Cup in terms of how many yards have been gained through his passing, how many times he's passed the ball forward. And yesterday, that second goal was just the prime example of it. I think it was a 1-2 with Rashford, burst through the middle, strength, pace, brushing off defenders, easy pass to Bruno. Bruno out to Garnacho. Nice little smart pass from Garnacho, by the way. And a little right-footed sweeping finish from Shaw. Hell yes. He really is looking at his absolute peak at this moment in time. I'd say Shaw's looking in his best form, but I've seen him in a United shirt. I'd say Marcus Rashford is looking in his best form in a United shirt. Diogo Dalot, of course, came back yesterday. Looked pretty good, didn't he? Wan-Bissaka was playing well, but I'm happy to have Diogo Dalot back. All candidates from Player of the Month scored yesterday. That's a nice little thing, Daisy. Yeah, you've got Casemiro, you've got Shaw, and you've got Rashford all nominated for December Player of the Month, I think it was. Then a super chat, a couple of super chats. Let me read these out. Nick, I'm in the minority, but I think we need a more cultured number 10 than Bruno if we're going to go to the next level. Olmo at Leipzig. Olmo, is that the Spanish dude who looks completely non-Spanish? Would force Bruno to improve. I think we're seeing... Look, I know what you mean. I understand the criticism about Bruno Fernandes. I just think it goes over the top. Like his return, constant goals and assists, constant return. He's constantly involved. Who got the assist for Marcus Rashford's goal against Wolves? Who got an assist there against Bournemouth? Who was involved in the build-up to the second goal as well? Bruno Fernandes, more often than not, is involved in every single goal United score. He's so central, and I know that there are elements to his game. He is a little bit rash. He is an emotional player. He does get pissed off when decisions go against him, and it affects how he thinks. But to think that we need to take him out and we need to improve Bruno, I think is so utterly wrong. And I know that's an opinion, right? And everybody can have their own opinions, but I just think it's just madness. JJ, you sent a super chat, dude, but you haven't put anything in there, so I can't read that out for you. Bruno's a liability. I can't be asked trying to defend Bruno anymore. Let's see what goes on in the game against City, right? I suppose these are going to be the games where players like Bruno Fernandes are judged the most. But he really is a man that, he's just involved in... Honestly, if I was to go back and I was to look at every single goal this season, I'd be surprised if there are many where Bruno Fernandes isn't involved in the build-up play with a pass that really helps make it happen, an assist that's directly involved, or he scores. We didn't score that many at this particular moment in time. But look, Marcus Rashford yesterday again with his new celebration. He just can't stop scoring, can he? He can't stop scoring, even in a game where maybe he wasn't as directly involved that much, didn't have that many opportunities. He got the goal. Great ball from Shaw. Wonderful assist from Bruno Fernandes. And Marcus Rashford with the finish. And we need him to stay fit, firing and ready this season because we just got nobody else at this moment in time. Anthony Martial, that ball from that cross from Casemiro. Oh, I don't know how Anthony Martial missed in between the two Bournemouth defenders. I was like, how are you missing that? Then he went down. He went off with a bit of a niggle, but I don't think didn't look too bad. Maybe you might see Anthony Martial rested for Everton, for example. I think we're going to play a full team against Charlton, though, because, as I said, that's one game away from a semi-final. Ten Hag will not be resting any players for that. But Rashford, man, I'm just enjoying what I'm seeing. He's enjoying his football. Of course, we need other players around him to improve. Anthony was left out. Well, not left out, sorry. Anthony wasn't in the team yesterday. He was injured. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he was left out. You can make your own conspiracy theories if you want. But Anthony was injured. He wasn't in the squad. He's not in the best of form. He needs to find that form and confidence. Anthony Martial against Wolves and now against Bournemouth. 2 games where they kind of passed him by. I think his movement's okay. His finishing is just not there. Anthony Elanga came on. I don't think Anthony Langer's got a long-term future at the club. I don't think he's technically strong enough to exist inside this Ten Hag system. And Jadon Sancho, he was back in Carrington this week. We'll find out when he's going to be back in the team. But we need Marcus Rashford continuing this sort of form because there isn't really anybody else around him who is playing like that. Let me go down and read a few more of your comments out. Bruno's contribution is overlooked. Mate, Reece, his contribution is just permanently overlooked. I don't understand. Honestly, for the life of me, I do not understand it. I think it must just be people looking at De Bruyne and saying, well, why isn't Bruno doing that every single game? It's because, well, there aren't many / any other players like Kevin De Bruyne. Bruno certainly does his job. He did look tired last 5-10 minutes yesterday. And it's a real shame for Donny van der Beek as well. Like, you're looking at the replacement, I suppose, for Bruno. Kind of looking at him there. He did look out of sorts. Martial, he did. Do you even watch United games, says Lawrence? No, mate. I just come on here. I like chatting shit. I don't even support United. I actually like watching kabaddi and I watch darts. That's all I watch. I don't watch football. So, well, I don't know why some people really catch me out in some comments. That one got me. But yeah, somebody I've got to speak about yesterday is Harry Maguire, right? Harry Maguire came back into the team and it was a game where I said, look, it was a game where Ten Hag made some changes, right? Everybody questioned bringing Lindelof and Maguire back in, but it gave Varane a rest and we got 3-0 and we got a clean sheet and it worked out. But Maguire and Lindelof together, it's just painful. Lindelof alongside Maguire, alongside Varane, I quite enjoy watching him. I think I do think Lindelof is a decent enough defender that he can have a future at United. But you just can't play Maguire and Lindelof together because they both have, in a United shirt, they both have a lack of responsibility. They don't want to take that ball forward. They want to pass it to someone else and make them do it. And therefore, it just constantly goes sideways with Maguire and Lindelof. And it goes slow. And they point to spaces and they say, this is what you should be doing, not me. I don't want to do it. And that lack of responsibility slows the whole of United down. It means that people aren't making runs. It makes the tempo just disappear. Ten Hag can't do that anymore, man. If you're going to play Maguire, play him alongside Martinez. If you're going to play Lindelof, play him alongside Varane. Don't play Lindelof and Maguire together. That's the issue. I think both of them individually, certainly for the rest of this season, past this season, that's a different debate. For the rest of this season, if they're going to play, only one of them should play at once. Don't play both of them together. That's when the problems exist. It's just a shame. But I'll tell you what, something we saw yesterday, something we've been waiting for. Yes, look at this. Let me play. Walking back onto the pitch at Old Trafford. TRA finally got that flag in, by the way. They blocked that flag because they had a big knife on it. Martinez back on the pitch, and look at this big old smile on his face, man. I love this dude. You know my man Crush is serious when it comes to Lisandro Martinez, and he got a standing ovation when he came off the bench yesterday for Lindelof in the last 5 minutes. Will we see him against Everton? Probably. I reckon we'll see him against Everton. It's a game which should United should control kind of a game to ease him back in, and we've missed him. If we're looking at just the fundamentals of Ten Hag's game, Martinez is the guy when it comes to bringing it out from the back. And we've got a World Cup winner. Back in. If his mentality wasn't strong enough already, adding the fact that he's just won the World Cup, it's going to be a problem for everyone else. How many people we've got watching at the moment? We've got 2,000 people watching and 400 likes on the video. If you can, please just take 1 second and drop a like on the video. Drop a like on the video for Martinez, for Casemiro, for Ten Hag, and for me as well. It makes a big, big difference. But I'm just happy to have him back. I've missed him. We've missed him. But I tell you what, have we missed him? We've got 3 clean sheets in a row. Yeah, of course we've missed him. In terms of how much we control games. And that's what I mean. Heading back to what Ten Hag said over here about we need to be smarter. This is something where Casemiro does change that. Yes. But this bloke changes it massively. Wrong one there. That's the wrong thing. Where is it? That's the wrong thing. Got there in the end. But I'm just happy to have him back. And look, if you're looking at the successes that we've had post-World Cup, then you add Martinez back into it. Then you add Martinez and Varane together back into it. You bring Delo back into it over Wan-Bissaka. Things are starting to be built. And I think last night showed there are elements of this squad which we can rely on. There are elements that we can't. As I said, Maguire and Lindelof as a partnership just does not work, Erik. Don't do that again. I'm just happy he's back, man. I'm just happy he's back. Ben, look, I know you're completely right there. We are very thin up front. Now, bringing up this point here, Joao Felix, he's been left out of Atletico Madrid's squad tonight for their Copa del Rey game against Real Oviedo. It's very obvious that Joao Felix is available. He's available. He's in the market. Atletico Madrid want to get rid of him in January, but we know full well that it's to do with the money. 21 million euros they want, 15 million euros as a loan fee, I think. 15 fucking million. Mad. And 6 million in terms of all the wages being covered. They're not going to get that. They are not going to get that, but they're leaving him out of the squad. So it's going to be a game of chicken probably, where United are just going to wait. We're just going to wait. We've only got two games now left in January in the Premier League. We've got City, and that's next Saturday. I don't really think any signing is going to happen before then. Maybe for Arsenal, he could be in time. And Arsenal, apparently, the other team linked with him, but they're going all out for Mudryk. So I don't really think they're going to be able to afford Mudryk from Shakhtar and Joao Felix. But look, there's other names. We've seen Olivier Giroud, who's apparently going to sign a new deal with AC. I wouldn't be against Giroud at all. I think it'd be a cracking signing. Short-term signing, anyway. Marcus Thuram, we've spoken about him. We've spoken about Choupo-Moting from Bayern. There's no real massive update on any other ones, apart from this. Apart from the fact that Joao Felix has been left out, and it just goes to show that he is available. That Atletico Madrid don't really have too much in the power of negotiations here. They can either sit with Joao Felix on his big wages for the rest of the season and then sell him in the summer, or they can loan him out now, save the money, don't have a player inside that squad who doesn't want to be there, who the manager doesn't want to be there. It suits the harmony of the squad. I wouldn't say it's a similar situation to Ronaldo, but Ronaldo didn't want to be here, and ultimately he left. I don't think it's going to be the same exit route for Joao Felix, but he doesn't want to be at Atletico Madrid. They don't want him. It suits Atletico Madrid if he leaves. So that's where the compromise has to be found. And I think if you just half that, I mean, even 7 million. Geez, even 7. If you half the fee that they want for Joao Felix, the loan fee, 7 million is still a lot for a 5-month loan. But it's far more reasonable. And given that we saved like between, 12, 14 million pounds on Ronaldo's wages, putting Joao Felix in there, it kind of makes sense. But let's see. It's all around finances, right? It's all around finances. That's why we haven't signed Cody Gakpo. That's why we won't sign. I don't think anybody, I'll be honest, even the richest club in the world, still 21 million euros for Joao Felix is just an outrageous demand. Mark, you'd ask him whether Martial's injured again. I don't think Martial's injured again. Ten Hag didn't really sort of suggest that he was. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but let's find out. Giroud as a stopgap would be good. It would be good, but I think he's going to be signing a new deal with AC Milan, so I don't think that's going to be happening. Craig talking about a striker in the Ukrainian league. Look, Craig, this is what our scouting department should be doing. They should be identifying 3, 4, 5, even 10 strikers, all playing in like Ukrainian league, Mexican league, second division in Holland. That's what good scouts do, right? They identify players that might not be in the spotlight yet, but with the right coaching, they fit the profile that they could be an excellent signing for Manchester United. We need like a Javier Hernandez type signing. That's what we want. Somebody plucked out of Guadalajara for, what was it, 12, 14 million, I think it was. Just one of the greatest goal poachers we'll ever have. Just read a few more of your comments out down here. Daryl, you're talking about Wan-Bissaka being fantastic. He has been, man. Like, fair play to him. Fair play to him. I wrote him off completely. But he's impressed me. But also, you're saying that you were sorry to see Delo replace him? No. Diogo Delo is our number 1 right back. He comes straight back into this starting 11. I don't think Diogo Dalot will be playing 90 minutes against Everton and Charlton, though. Not with City and Arsenal coming up. So it's not the end of Wan-Bissaka. Carl, you're saying Felix will be back up for Bruno. No, if Felix is going to play, hypothetically, he plays the false 9 in front of Bruno. Warren, yeah, I feel bad about him as well, man. I do feel bad about him. Rafael Leao, you're saying, well, there's so many different. There are so many different strikers that we could. Was he only 7 mil? Man, sometimes we got it right. Sometimes we did get it right back in the day. Ivan Toney, you know why I'm not going after Ivan Toney, people. Stop mentioning Ivan Toney until the betting situation is sorted. No one's signing him. Absolutely no one's signing him. Somebody that we will be signing, though, apparently, this is an interesting one. Jack Butland. Obviously, Dubravka has left. One of the weirdest loan spells you'll ever see in your entire life. Played one game against, what was it, Burnley in the League Cup. Was absolutely abysmal. Then he leaves. But Man United are in talks to sign Jack Butland as a backup goalkeeper from Crystal Palace. And Jack Butland, I actually really do rate Jack Butland. I remember when he was, in my opinion, England's number one. Was it England's number one? It felt like he was England's best choice, number one choice goalkeeper. Sod knows what it was. He was a good goalkeeper for England. And then he got injured. I think that was pre-World Cup. And then he's just never really kicked off since then. But Jack Butland, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. As long as we don't be like, we better not be forking out a few million to sign Jack Butland now because he's on a free in the summer. Well, yeah, I think it's decent enough signing. It's a second choice goalkeeper. We shouldn't really have to waste too much time. But I think if I'm looking at Ten Hag's profile, genuinely, that's far better profile than Martin Dubravka is. And I'm sure he'd love the opportunity to come and play for Manchester United as well. Jonathan, you're saying Wan-Bissaka was one of the players that Ole overplayed ridiculously. Oh yeah, mate. I think Wan-Bissaka, I think it was De Gea was number one in appearance in terms of minutes played that season. I think Wan-Bissaka was second. He played almost every single minute of every single game. And you're saying a Lotz Openda at Lens. I'll have a look. That's another name. I said there's so many names that everyone keeps throwing at me. I'm like, I know I like watching football, but I don't watch that much football. All right. Heaton is good enough for a number 2. I kind of would agree with that. But look, clearly not. That's why we're going after Jack Butland. And I think, look, Jack Butland, good signing. I'd be fine with that. I'd be happy with that. And maybe he can refine that. And then, maybe sort of, look, De Gea, have I got a photo of De Gea? I think I was going to speak about him today. Where is he? No, I'll speak about him here, actually. De Gea for me was, yesterday, it's just, he was good, man. We didn't need to rely on him that much. That's why Ten Hag said this after the game. As much as he enjoys watching De Gea make save after save and United keeping a clean sheet, he'd rather not have to watch De Gea touch the ball at any point during the game. He'd rather United just controlled it, was smart about it. And that's something that he said after the game. But I haven't criticised De Gea. I've questioned, and I still will, and I still will question whether De Gea is the right man for this team going forward as a modern progressive goalkeeper. I think he's improving. I think De Gea is getting better. But I don't know whether that ceiling is as high as it needs to be. Because Ederson and Alisson, we've seen firsthand how involved those two goalkeepers have been in the transformation of those two teams. Ederson, I think that, was it Pep signed, he got rid of Joe Hart straight away, brought in Claudio Bravo, I think, and then binned off Claudio Bravo after one season, bought Ederson, and it was like, boom, done. And then Alisson, we know what Alisson did at Liverpool. They fixed their two big holes in that team. They signed Van Dijk, they signed Alisson, and that's when that team really started to get built. I still, and I always will, question whether De Gea can ever be that, our version of that. But De Gea, the way he's playing right now, maybe he's playing himself into a new contract. Maybe he will be staying. He certainly wants to stay, and he certainly loves the club. Just don't know. There's still part of me which just says it doesn't matter how good De Gea is or how good he can be. He won't be that goalkeeper that we need. And there's just part of me, I think, will always have that opinion. Simply because of what I've watched with Ederson and Alisson. That's why I think so. Chetan, you're saying we need to get a 20-year-old goalkeeper. We've already got a couple. What's the name of the goalkeepers that we've got? I can't remember the names. I think it begins with V. Let me have a look. Got me thinking now. Under 21's goalkeeper. Matej Kovar, that's him. Oh no, and Vitek as well. I knew that was on the game of V. Look, let's find out what goes on with De Gea. Look, last few minutes of the show, you send me in your questions. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who supported this. We've got 580 likes. We've got 2,000. As I said, there's 1,500 of you that could just drop a like on the video. Please, just do it. It only takes 1 second. It costs nothing, and it does help the channel. It takes it forward because it goes to show YouTube that you do enjoy the content. And I like to think that this is the most interactive show. I do answer as many questions as I possibly can throughout the stream. Any super chats you send in, I always read them. And big up to Nathan, to Spence, to Gungshi, to Alex, and anybody else who's gifted memberships today. Absolute dons. Daryl, you're saying, look, De Gea can perform at his peak now. Let's find out, because I think I've always said this to you, that De Gea, when he came to United, possession and playing out from the not playing out from the back, but his distribution was the best part of his game. And then we saw that he was a natural shot stopper, and that's when he started to build the confidence and commanding his area a little bit more. He's still not that good at that, but he does have it. He's grown up in Spain, man. He can play with the ball at his feet. Sam, do you think the Do Group having headquarters in Dubai means anything? No, I don't particularly think so. Shout out to mate, Carrick. I think he's got 22 points out of his first 30, I think. And McKenna with Ipswich. Hey, look, I said it at the time. I said it's fashionable to just completely and utterly dismiss every single part of Solskjaer's backroom staff and say they are absolutely abysmal. But Kieran McKenna was brought to United from Spurs' under-18s because he absolutely did a smashing job there. Then he won the title with our under-18s before. The only reason that Kieran McKenna was drafted into our first team situation was because, Rui Faria left. And just Kieran McKenna was like, just dropped in. He was like, oh, fuck, all right, okay. They're both good young coaches, and I'm glad that they are both doing well, man. How many? Yeah, I don't actually know how many yellow cards he's got. I'll be completely honest. Hey, Ant, I don't want to think about that, man. I don't want to think about that. Where's a picture of him? There. That's not him. That's not him. Let's just bring him back up on screen. There's my man, Stephen. It's a really good question. We need to get the bus sorted. We need to get a venue sorted. If we don't need a venue, it's going to be a festival in Manchester. It's going to be an absolute street party in Manchester. It's going to be like a parade. It really, really will be. How about replacing the Christmas tree with a cardboard cutout of Martinez? Some of you have sent me in some suggestions. I need to get that done. That Christmas tree is going to come down tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Friday. One of those 2 days. And then we're going to have to get something up there. It's a good shout. A nice big cutout of Martinez. I could deal with that. Ricky, I haven't been able to do that at this particular moment in time. Currently, I'm researching Qatar. I've done a video on Dubai, Apple, Jim Ratcliffe, everything. The next video that's going to come out is going to be on Qatar. Maybe I'll do that today. Unsure. I thought I was going to do something else today, but we'll find out. Is there a way to find out the number of subscribers and members in the help section? I had a look at the members the other day, and I'm pretty sure we've got over 1,500 members here on United People's TV, which is, it's got to be one of the biggest communities. I'm sure there are much, much bigger communities, but definitely one of the best, if not the best. Can you see this United team beating Barcelona? Absolutely, I can. And if I'm talking about who can play alongside Varane, it's going to be Luke Shaw. I think that's pretty much a given now, isn't it? I don't particularly think that you could play Lindelof there. That could happen. But I think Luke Shaw has played himself into contention there. In the update on the Van der Beek injury, Julie, I've seen you leaving that comment a few times. Try not to spam too much. That's what Ten Hag has said about it. It's not looking good. And I'll be honest, I don't think it did look good. I'll be surprised if that's not a proper injury, man. Martin, you're saying, hearing that Dubravka is heading out on loan to Leeds. I saw that as well. Weird. I think he asked to leave Man United. It's odd, man. It's really, really odd. What else is he saying down here? Shout out to Mark Skinney. I apologize to anybody who think so correctly that I don't cover the women's team enough. I don't get the time to watch the women's team. And I do want to bring in some coverage of it at some point. And when I do that, well, I'll let you know. I'm not sure where I'll be able to do that. But big up to every single one of you who joined in today. That was a really good conversation. I like to think it was interactive. I'm sure you think so too. Make sure you drop a like on the video. I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Remember, that's the new start time. Every day, Monday to Friday now, I'll be here at 10 a.m. And I'll be here later on today with another video going out at lunchtime. Big up to all of you. Big up to Erik Ten Hag. Big up to Casemiro. 1-1-1. See you soon.